The market fell silent the moment the clay pot shattered, but that was only the beginning. Because in the village of Umuora, where power belongs to the wealthy and destiny favors the bold, one orphan girl is about to challenge everything they believe, even the throne itself. This is not just a story of love. It is the story of a girl mocked for her poverty, dismissed for her origins, yet chosen by fate for something far greater than anyone expects. You will soon witness jealousy clash with destiny, cruelty bow before courage, and a prince fight the world to defend the one girl he was never supposed to choose. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button right now, because what you are about to hear will move you, shake you, and keep you rooting for Isioma until the very last breath of this tale. If you love powerful storytelling, emotional journeys, and stories where the underdog rises, then don't just watch, join our family. Subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next unforgettable chapter. Now take a deep breath. Let the story begin. The clay pot shattered against the ground, scattering vegetables across the dusty market square. Isioma dropped to her knees, frantically gathering the scattered ugu leaves before they could be trampled. Her hands trembled as she reached for a rolling tomato, but a fine leather sandal stepped on it first. "How clumsy," Ifoma's voice dripped with disdain. "Tell me, Isioma, do you practice falling, or does it come naturally to orphans?" Isioma looked up at the merchant's daughter, her coral beads glinting in the morning sun like captured fire. Behind Ifoma stood Ifyenwa, another wealthy man's child, smirking beneath her elaborate jewel head tie. "Forgive me," Isioma whispered, continuing to salvage what she could. "I did not see you coming." "You never do." Ifoma stepped over the mess without offering help. "Come, Ifyenwa, the air here suddenly smells of poverty." Their laughter echoed across the market as they disappeared into the crowd. Isioma blinked back tears, focusing instead on the ruined vegetables. This was food Mama Ngozi had trusted her to sell, food they needed to survive. "My daughter, let me help you." Old Mama Chibuike knelt beside her, her weathered hands swift and gentle. "Don't mind those peacocks, all feathers, no substance." "Thank you, Mama." Isioma managed a small smile, "but half the vegetables are ruined now." "Then we work with what remains." The old woman squeezed her shoulder. "Your Kai has not brought you this far to abandon you over crushed tomatoes." The sound of the equi-drum suddenly cut through the market's noise, 3 sharp strikes that meant only one thing: a royal announcement. Isioma's heart quickened as the crowd began moving toward the village square like a river finding its course. "Come," Mama Chibuike pulled her to her feet. "This must be important." They joined the flowing mass of bodies, farmers in simple wrappers, traders with clay-stained hands, children darting between adult legs. The village square filled quickly, everyone pressing forward to see Obi Nnamdi's compound gate, where the traditional ruler would make his proclamation. The massive Iroko wood gate swung open with a groan that seemed to come from the earth itself. Palace guards emerged first, their machetes gleaming, followed by the council of elders in their ceremonial attire. Then came Prince Chibuike, tall and thoughtful, his eyes scanning the crowd with an intensity that made Isioma's breath catch when his gaze swept past her. Finally, Obi Nnamdi himself appeared, his coral crown catching the light, his Ofo staff of authority held firmly in his right hand. Enjoying the story? Like, subscribe, and comment as the story unfolds. "People of Umuora," his voice carried across the silent square. "Our ancestors teach us that a kingdom without succession is like a tree without roots. The time has come for Prince Chibuike to choose a wife." The crowd erupted in excited murmurs. Isioma felt her stomach twist. Of course, this was what everyone had been whispering about for months. "Before the new Yam festival," the Obi continued, "my son must select his bride. All eligible maidens of good character may present themselves in 7 days. The woman chosen will not only become a princess, but will one day guide this village as its Lolo." Isioma watched as wealthy families immediately began buzzing with plans. She caught sight of Ifoma whispering urgently to her mother, their eyes bright with ambition. Ifyenwa stood with her arms crossed, a calculating smile playing on her lips. "What makes you frown, my daughter?" Mama Chibuike asked. "Nothing, Mama. This does not concern someone like me." "And why not? Are you not of good character? Are you not eligible?" Isioma laughed bitterly. "Look at them, Mama." She gestured toward the wealthy families already clustering together, forming alliances. "I have nothing to offer a prince. No land, no family connections, no bride wealth. I am nobody's daughter." "You are your mother's daughter," Mama Chibuike said firmly, "and she was the finest woman I knew. Good character does not grow in yam barns, child. It grows in the heart." As the crowd dispersed, Isioma made her way back to her small market stall, her mind churning. The idea was ridiculous, wasn't it? A prince marrying an orphan? Such things only happened in the old stories Mama Ngozi told on moonlit nights. But as she arranged her remaining vegetables, she couldn't help glancing toward the palace compound where Prince Chibuike had disappeared. She had seen him sometimes in the market, always kind to the traders, always listening more than he spoke. Once, he had helped an old man lift a heavy load, refusing to let his guards do it instead. "Stop dreaming," she muttered to herself. "Dreams don't fill empty stomachs." The afternoon sun blazed overhead as Isioma finally packed up her meager earnings. She was counting the few cowrie shells when a shadow fell across her mat. "Isioma!" She looked up to find Mama Ngozi standing there, the woman who had taken her in when her parents died of the fever 7 years ago. Mama Ngozi's face was lined with age and hardship, but her eyes shone with a fierce intelligence that had guided Isioma through her darkest days. "Mama, you should not have walked all this way in the heat." "Nonsense, these old legs still work." Mama Ngozi settled onto the mat with a grunt. "I heard the announcement." "Everyone heard it." And what, Mama? It has nothing to do with us." Mama Ngozi was quiet for a long moment, studying Isioma's face. "Your mother came to me in a dream last night." Isioma's hands stilled. Mama Ngozi did not speak lightly of dreams. She said, "Tell my daughter that sometimes the smallest seed grows into the mightiest tree." I woke up wondering what it meant. Now I know. "Mama, please, don't fill my head with impossible things." "Is it impossible, or are you simply afraid?" The question hung in the air between them like smoke. Isioma wanted to deny it, but the words wouldn't come. Yes, she was afraid. Afraid of hopping, afraid of trying, afraid of the mockery that would rain down on her if she dared to dream above her station. "I have nothing to offer a prince," she finally whispered. "You have everything that matters. You have compassion that sees beyond a person's wrapper to their heart. You have wisdom that listens before speaking. You have hands that heal and a spirit that serves." Mama Ngozi took Isioma's face in her weathered palms. "These are the things a true leader needs, my daughter. Not gold, not land, not connections, character." Tears spilled down Isioma's cheeks. "But they will laugh at me." "Let them laugh. The palm tree does not bend because the wind mocks it. It bends because it is wise enough to survive the storm." That evening, as they sat outside their small compound, sharing a meal of boiled yam and palm oil, Mama Ngozi brought out a piece of white cloth. "This was your mother's," she said softly. "She was saving it for something special. I think she would want you to have it now." Isioma touched the fabric reverently. It was simple, unadorned, but clean and whole. "We will dye it with the indigo I've been saving," Mama Ngozi continued, "and you will embroider it with symbols of what you believe a wife should bring to a marriage, not what the wealthy girls will bring, gold and showmanship, but what truly matters." "Mama, I am afraid." "Good, fear means you understand what is at stake, but do not let fear choose your path. Let your Kai guide you." Over the next 6 days, Isioma worked on the cloth during every spare moment. Her fingers, skilled from years of weaving at the market, moved with careful precision. She embroidered a palm tree for life and provision, an Ofo staff for truth and justice, a clay pot for nurturing. Each symbol told a story of what she valued, what she believed, what she could offer. On the 6th evening, as she put the final stitches in place, Ifoma and Ifeanwa passed by their compound. They were dressed in expensive wrappers, their servants carrying baskets laden with gifts for the palace. "Look, Isioma," called out loudly enough for Isioma to hear. "The orphan girl is sewing. Perhaps she makes clothes for those who can afford her services." "Doubtful who would pay for such plain work," Isioma laughed. "Come, we must prepare. Tomorrow, Prince Chibuike will choose from among the best families. I hear he favors intelligence." "Then you have nothing to worry about," Isioma shot back, and they dissolved into giggles as they walked away. Isioma's hands clenched around the cloth. Mama Ngozi, who had been grinding pepper nearby, came to sit beside her. "Remember what I told you about the palm tree?" "I remember, Mamas." That night, Isioma knelt at the small shrine in their compound, the one where she honored her parents' memory and spoke to her Kai. "I do not know if this is madness or destiny," she whispered into the darkness, "but I will try, not for glory, not for wealth, but because Mama Ngozi believes in me, because maybe somewhere my mother's spirit believes in me too. If this is not my path, give me peace. If it is, give me courage." The flame of the small oil lamp flickered, and somewhere in the distance, a night bird sang. Tomorrow would come, ready or not, and with it, the selection that would change everything. If you're enjoying Isioma's journey, please like this video and subscribe for more inspiring African folktales. Drop a comment below. Do you think she has a chance? The morning of the selection arrived with a sky so clear it seemed the gods themselves had polished it for the occasion. Isioma woke before dawn, her stomach churning with anxiety. She could hear Mama Ngozi already moving about outside, preparing for the day. "Come, my daughter," the old woman called. "Let me help you dress." The simple indigo wrapper felt light against Isioma's skin, almost weightless compared to the heavy, elaborate George fabric the wealthy girls would wear. Mama Ngozi fastened the wooden necklace around her neck, the one she had carved herself years ago. "This is all I have to give you," Mama Ngozi said quietly. "Your mother wore this the day she married your father. No coral beads, no gold, just this simple piece. But their love was stronger than any marriage built on wealth." Isioma touched the smooth wood, drawing strength from it. "Thank you, Mama. Now go walk with your head high. You carry your mother's spirit and your own truth. That is more than enough." The path to the palace compound was already crowded with people heading to witness the selection. Isioma joined the flow, her heart pounding so loudly she was certain everyone could hear it. As she approached the palace gates, she saw the other candidates arriving in grand processions. Isioma came first, carried on a decorated platform by 4 strong men. Her wrapper was the finest red George, her neck laden with multiple strands of coral beads that must have cost more than Isioma would earn in 10 years. Behind her, servants carried baskets overflowing with yams, jars of palm wine, and even a young goat bleating nervously. "Make way for the daughter of Chief Okonkwo," Ifoma's uncle announced loudly. "She brings wealth and connections to strengthen Umuora's alliances." The crowd murmured appreciatively. Isioma felt her courage wavering. Then came Isioma, equally resplendent in gold-colored fabric, her jewel head tie wrapped so elaborately it added a full foot to her height. Her servants carried not just food and wine, but bolts of expensive cloth and carved wooden artifacts. "The daughter of Iki Enwasu approaches," her brother called out. "She brings the blessing of the Enwasu compound, friends to 3 neighboring villages." More candidates followed, each more elaborate than the last. Wealthy families had clearly spent months preparing for this moment, pooling resources to make their daughters shine. Isioma looked down at her simple wrapper and the small basket she carried containing only fresh vegetables from Mama Ngozi's garden. "What is she doing here?" someone whispered loudly enough for Isioma to hear. "The orphan girl, has she lost her mind? Look at her offering vegetables, as if the palace doesn't have enough food." Heat flooded Isioma's cheeks, but she forced herself to keep walking. She had come this far, she would not turn back now. The palace courtyard had been transformed into a spectacular arena. Colorful cloths hung from poles, drummers sat ready with their instruments, and the council of elders occupied carved stools arranged in a semicircle. At the center sat Obi Nnamdi on his throne, with Prince Chibuike standing beside him, his expression unreadable. "Let the presentations begin," the palace announcer declared. One by one, the candidates came forward. Isioma went first, her speech practiced and smooth. "Great Obi, noble prince, esteemed elders," she began, bowing low. "I come from the lineage of warriors and landowners. My father controls 3 streams and 7 palm groves. My grandfather served on this very council. An alliance with our family means security, prosperity, and strong ties with the villages of Nkwo and Okija." She demonstrated her skills, balancing a pot of water on her head while walking with perfect grace, grinding pepper with such speed the mortar sang, even singing a traditional wedding song in a clear, beautiful voice. The elders nodded approvingly. Obi Nnamdi looked pleased, but Isioma noticed that Prince Chibuike's expression never changed. He watched politely, but there was something distant in his eyes. Isioma followed with an equally impressive display, emphasizing her family's trading connections and her own education in household management. Several other wealthy candidates presented themselves, each trying to outdo the last. Then came Isioma's turn. The whispers started immediately as she stepped forward with her small basket. Someone laughed, quickly stifled, but the damage was done. Isioma felt her legs trembling, but she forced herself to walk steadily toward the elders. She bowed as deeply as the others had, her forehead nearly touching the ground in respect. "Great Obi," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. She cleared her throat and tried again, louder this time. "Great Obi, Prince Chibuike, honored elders of Umuora, I stand before you knowing I have no land to offer, no gold to present, no powerful family connections to strengthen." The courtyard had gone silent, even the whispers had stopped. "But I offer what the land has given me through honest work." She lifted her basket, showing the fresh vegetables. "These ugu leaves, these tomatoes, these peppers, they fed me when I was hungry. They came from soil I helped till from seeds I helped plant. The hands of this village raised me when I was alone. I learned from the market women how to trade fairly. I learned from the farmers how to read the sky for rain. I learned from Mama Ngozi how to see the person behind their wrapper." Her voice grew stronger as she spoke. "I brought this cloth that I made with my own hands." She unfolded it, showing the embroidered symbols. "The palm tree for life and provision, because a wife should nurture. The Ofo staff for truth and justice, because a wife should speak honestly even when the truth is difficult. The pot for community, because a wife should bring people together, not divide them." She looked directly at Prince Chibuike for the first time. "I may not know the ways of the palace, great prince, but I know the hearts of our people. I know their struggles because I have lived among them. I know their joys because I have shared them. I know what it means to have nothing and still choose kindness. That is all I have to offer." She bowed again and stepped back, her heart hammering so hard she thought it might burst from her chest. The silence stretched uncomfortably, then Ifoma's mocking voice cut through it. "Did she just compare herself to us with vegetables and a peasant's cloth? This is an insult to everyone here." Nervous laughter rippled through some of the wealthy families, but Isioma noticed something interesting. The common villagers watching from beyond the courtyard, the market women, the farmers, the traders, they weren't laughing. They were nodding, some with tears in their eyes. Obi Nnamdi shifted on his throne, looking uncomfortable. "Your honesty is refreshing, Isioma," he said carefully, "but a prince's wife must bring more than good intentions to a marriage. She must strengthen our village through strategic alliances, through connections that protect us in times of trouble." He paused, his expression softening slightly. "You may go, child. May Yokai guide you to a suitable match among your own people." The dismissal strung more than Isioma had expected. She had known this would be the outcome, but hearing it spoken aloud made it real. She bowed once more and turned to leave, her vision blurring with unshed tears. But as she walked toward the gate, she heard Prince Chibuike's voice. "Father, might I speak with you privately?" "The selection is not yet complete, my son. Nevertheless, I must speak with you now." The urgency in his tone made everyone turn. Obi Nnamdi frowned, but gestured for Chibuike to follow him into the palace. As they disappeared inside, the courtyard erupted in speculation. Isioma didn't wait to hear it. She slipped through the gates and made her way back toward Mama Ngozi's compound, her throat tight with disappointment. She had tried, she had been brave, and she had failed just as everyone had predicted. Isioma, wait. She turned to find Obiora, Prince Chibuike's childhood friend and personal guard, jogging toward her. The prince wants you to remain in the village today, Obiora said, slightly out of breath. Do not go far, he may have questions for all the candidates later. Why? Isioma asked, confused. The Obi has already dismissed me. Obiora smiled mysteriously. Just stay close, trust me. He hurried back toward the palace, leaving Isioma standing in the dusty road, hope and confusion warring in her chest. Inside the palace, Prince Chibuike faced his father in the private meeting chamber. You are making a mistake, Chibuike said without preamble. A mistake? Isioma seems like a good girl, but she brings nothing to this marriage. No alliances, no. No performance, you mean? Chibuike interrupted. Father, I watched those women today. They brought gifts and gave speeches, yes, but I saw their eyes. I saw how they looked at the common people watching from outside the gates. Ifoma sneered at them. Ifyenwa wouldn't even acknowledge their existence. They see our people as beneath them. They are daughters of privilege. It is natural they. It is wrong. Chibuike's voice rose with passion. How can I choose a wife who despises half the village? How can she be a good Lolo if she cannot love all our people? Obi Nnamdi stood, his face hardening. You are young and idealistic. You think love and kindness will protect Umuora when neighboring villages challenge our borders. You think compassion will fill our barns when the rains fail. We need alliances, my son. We need strength. And what is Isioma if not strong? Chibuike challenged. She lost her parents, yet she did not become bitter. She has nothing, yet she gives to others. She was mocked in front of everyone today, yet she held her head high and spoke her truth. That is strength, father. That is the kind of strength I want beside me. The Obi sat back down heavily, rubbing his temples. The council will never approve. Then let me prove she is worthy. Give all the candidates real tests, not performances of skills they've practiced, but real challenges that reveal their true character. Give me 1 month. If Isioma fails these tests, I will choose from among the wealthy families, but if she succeeds, you will face opposition from powerful families who expected their daughters to be chosen. I will face that when it comes. Please, father, 1 month, real tests. Let character speak louder than carry shells. Obi Nnamdi was quiet for a long time, his fingers drumming on the arm of his chair. Finally, he sighed. You are more stubborn than your mother, and she was the most stubborn woman in Iberland. A small smile played at his lips. Very well, 1 month, 3 tests, but they will be real challenges, Chibuike, not easy tasks designed to favor the orphan girl. The council must approve them, and they will be harsh. I ask for nothing less than fairness. Then you shall have it. Gather the candidates. We make the announcement today. Are you rooting for Isioma? Drop a comment with your predictions. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the stunning conclusion. The sun had reached its peak when the drums summoned everyone back to the palace courtyard. Isioma stood among the remaining candidates, her heart pounding with renewed hope and terror. What had changed? Why had they been called back? Obi Nnamdi emerged with the council of elders, their faces grave and deliberate. Prince Chibuike stood beside his father, his jaw set with determination. People of Umuora, the Obi's voice rang out. The council has deliberated. We have decided that the selection will not end today. Instead, there will be 3 tests over the coming weeks, tests of wisdom, character, and leadership. These will reveal the true nature of each candidate, not merely what they have practiced to show us. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the crowd. Ifoma's confident smile faltered. Ifyenwa's eyes narrowed with calculation. The first test begins tomorrow, an elder announced. Each candidate will spend one full day managing disputes in the village market. You will observe, listen, and resolve conflicts. At sunset, you will report to the council what you learned and how you addressed each situation. Isioma's breath caught. The market, her territory, where she had spent years learning the rhythms of trade and the hearts of people. Perhaps her Kai had been guiding her all along. That evening, while the wealthy candidates strategized with their families, Isioma sat with Mama Ngozi under the stars. "Do not overthink it, my daughter," the old woman advised. "You have been preparing for this test your entire life without knowing it. Just be yourself." "But what if myself is not enough?" Mama Ngozi took Isioma's hand. "Then it was never meant to be, but I do not believe that. Your mother appeared in my dream again last night." She was smiling. The next morning, Isioma arrived at the market before dawn. She knew every vendor, every regular customer, every hidden corner where disputes often erupted. As the sun rose, so did the chaos of market day. Her first challenge came quickly. Two traders, Mama Ekin and Mama Adiora, were shouting at each other over a customer who had bought from both of them. "She promised to buy all her peppers from me," Mama Ekin yelled. "I offered a better price. That is fair trade," Mama Adiora shot back. Isioma approached calmly, remembering what Mama Ngozi had taught her. "Listen first, speak second." "Mama Ekin, Mama Adiora, please, let me understand. What happened?" As they explained, Isioma learned that both women were struggling. Mama Ekin's husband was sick, and she needed steady customers. Mama Adiora had just lost a large portion of her crop to pests and needed to sell what remained quickly. "What if," Isioma suggested gently, "the customer buys peppers from Mama Ekin for regular use, but when she needs large quantities for ceremonies, she comes to Mama Adiora, who can offer bulk prices. Both of you win, and the customer gets the best of both services." The women looked at each other, then slowly nodded. That could work," Mama Ekin admitted. Throughout the day, Isioma resolved conflicts with patience and creativity. When a young trader was accused of using light weights, she discovered his scale was broken, not his character, and helped him borrow one until he could repair his own. When a wealthy customer tried to cheat a poor farmer, Isioma firmly but respectfully pointed out the unfairness, protecting the vulnerable without humiliating the powerful. Meanwhile, Ifoma's approach was different. Isioma overheard her resolving a dispute by simply fining the poorer party. "Rules must be enforced swiftly," Ifoma declared. "Efficiency over sentiment." Several traders looked angry but said nothing, knowing she came from a powerful family. Ifoma sided consistently with wealthy merchants, dismissing complaints from poorer vendors. "Those with resources have earned their position," she said coldly to one struggling widow. "Perhaps you should work harder." At sunset, they gathered before the council. Ifoma reported first, her tone confident. "I resolved 7 disputes efficiently. The key to market order is swift punishment for rule breakers and clear hierarchy. When people know their place, conflicts decrease." The elders nodded politely, but without enthusiasm. Ifoma spoke next. "Markets function best when we support those who contribute most to village prosperity. I prioritized vendors with resources and connections. This encourages others to aspire to success." Several elders frowned at this. Then came Isioma's turn. Her voice was steady but humble. "Honored elders, I resolved 9 disputes today, but more importantly, I learned something. Most conflicts in the market do not come from bad character, but from fear of hunger, fear of loss, fear of unfair treatment. When people feel heard and respected, they often solve their own problems." She detailed each case, showing how understanding the root cause led to solutions that helped everyone. "I also discovered that Mama Ekin has knowledge of crop rotation that could help our farmers increase yields. Perhaps we could create a way for such wisdom to be shared across the village." The eldest council member leaned forward, his eyes bright with interest. "You see opportunities where others see only problems. This is wisdom beyond your years." Days later came the second test. Each candidate would spend a full day in the healing compound caring for the sick. This would test compassion and dedication. Isioma entered the compound with a full heart. She had visited here many times, bringing food to the ill, but now she would truly serve. The herbalist, old Dibia Enwoy, gave her simple instructions: clean wounds, fetch water, prepare medicines, and comfort the suffering. The work was hard and the smells overwhelming, but Isioma moved from patient to patient with gentle hands. She sang softly to feverish children, held the hands of frightened elders, and listened to their stories with genuine interest. "You remind me of my daughter," one old woman whispered. "Same kind eyes." In another corner, Isioma lasted only until midday before claiming illness herself and leaving. Several vendors later told Isioma they had seen her covering her nose and complaining constantly. Isioma stayed longer, but her mind was elsewhere. Isioma noticed her watching with calculating eyes, and a cold feeling settled in her stomach. She had seen that look before, ambition mixed with desperation. That afternoon, as Isioma prepared medicine for an elder with fever, she stepped away briefly to fetch fresh water. When she returned, something felt wrong. The medicine pot had been moved slightly. "Did someone touch this?" she asked Dibia Enwoy. "I saw no one, but I was attending to another patient." Isioma's instinct screamed warning. She smelled the mixture carefully. There, beneath the healing herbs, a bitter scent that did not belong. Her heart raced. If she gave this to the patient, it could make him dangerously ill. "Dibia, please smell this. Is this how it should be?" The old healer's face darkened immediately. "Someone has added bitter leaf stems, too much, enough to cause harm. Who has been near this pot?" Before Isioma could answer, Obira appeared at the entrance, his expression grim. He beckoned to someone outside, and guards entered, escorting a pale-faced Isioma. "I saw everything," Obira said quietly to Dibia Enwoy. "She tampered with the medicine. Prince Chibuike asked me to watch all candidates carefully." He turned to Isioma. "You have two choices: withdraw quietly or face public accusation of attempted poisoning." Isioma's face crumpled. "My family will be ruined." "Your family will hear that you withdrew for personal reasons, but you leave now." She left in disgrace, and Isioma felt a mix of relief and sadness. How desperate must Isioma have been to attempt something so terrible? The final test came a week later. The council presented all remaining candidates with a crisis. The neighboring village of Chibuike faced severe crop failure and requested access to Umuora's water sources and food stores. Some feared this would deplete their own resources. What should be done? Isioma spoke first, her solution firm and clear. "They must pay tribute, labor on our farms, work on our roads. We help them while strengthening ourselves. Those who refuse should be turned away. We protect our own first." Other candidates offered similar approaches, focused on maintaining Umuora's dominance and extracting maximum benefit. Then Isioma stood, her legs trembling but her voice clear. "Great Obi, honored elders, this crisis is not just a burden, it is an opportunity to build something stronger than walls." She took a deep breath. "First, we share water and food freely, enough to prevent death and desperation. Starving people become desperate people, and desperate people raid their neighbors. Prevention is wiser than war." Several elders leaned forward, listening intently. "But we also create fair exchange, not tribute. Chibuike has master potters and weavers, skills we need. We trade knowledge for knowledge, resources for resources. Our farmers teach irrigation methods. They teach pottery techniques." Her voice grew stronger with conviction. "We invite their elders to meet with ours and create joint emergency stores for both villages. Today Chibuike needs us. Tomorrow we may need them. Our ancestors teach us, a tree does not grow alone in the forest. If we help Chibuike survive, we gain loyal friends, not resentful subjects forced to serve." The courtyard had gone completely silent. Even Isioma looked thoughtful. "Yes, we must protect our own," Isioma concluded. "But the best protection is not walls and guards. It is neighbors who stand with you because you stood with them. Peace through partnership is stronger than peace through power. Elder Enwafa, the most skeptical council member, spoke for the first time. Child, you speak with wisdom that some learn only after a lifetime of mistakes. Where did you gain such understanding? From having nothing, Elder. When you have nothing, you learn that people are your only true wealth. You learn that kindness given returns as kindness received. You learn that we survive together or we perish alone. That evening, the council met in private. Isioma waited in Mama Ngozi's compound, unable to eat, unable to rest. Had she said too much? Not enough. Had her humble origins doomed her despite passing the tests? As darkness fell, Obiora arrived at their gate. Isioma, you are summoned to the palace. The decision has been made. The walk through the village felt eternal. Mama Ngozi held her hand tightly, refusing to let her go alone. Villagers came out of their compounds, following silently, until a small crowd accompanied them to the palace gates. The courtyard was lit with torches, casting dancing shadows. All the elders sat in their places. Obi Nnamdi stood beside his throne, with Prince Chibuike at his side. Ifoma and her family stood to one side, their faces carefully neutral. Isioma, daughter of Okafa, the Obi's voice rang out, "Step forward." She did, her legs barely holding her. Mama Ngozi squeezed her hand once more before releasing it. The council has deliberated on all the tests. We have seen skill and we have seen strategy. But in you, we have seen something more rare. We have seen wisdom born of suffering, compassion born of loss, and strength born of humility. Isioma's vision blurred with tears. Therefore, Obi Nnamdi continued, his voice softening, "It is the decision of this council that you shall be the bride of Prince Chibuike. You shall prepare to become the future Lolo of Umuora." The courtyard erupted. Common villagers cheered and wept. Some wealthy families looked stunned, but even they could not protest a council decision. Chibuike stepped forward and took Isioma's hands. "Will you walk this path with me?" he asked quietly. "Will you help me lead with both wisdom and compassion?" "I am not worthy," she began, but he gently interrupted. "You are the most worthy person I have ever known. Your heart is your crown, Isioma, say yes." Through her tears, she smiled. "Yes, I will serve Umuora with everything I am." Mama Ngozi pushed through the crowd and embraced her, both of them weeping. "Your mother sees this," the old woman whispered. "She is dancing with joy." The wedding came with the new moon, a celebration that united rich and poor in genuine joy. During the traditional wine-carrying ceremony, Isioma walked through the seated guests, pretending not to see Chibuike at first as custom demanded, making everyone laugh. When she finally knelt and offered him the cup, the cheers shook the very ground. Years passed, and Isioma became the Lolo that Umuora needed. She established councils where common people could bring concerns directly to the palace. She created learning circles where elders taught young people traditional wisdom. She mediated the agreement with Umudik that brought lasting peace and prosperity to both villages. One morning, years later, Lolo Isioma walked through the market at dawn, as she still did regularly. An orphan girl was sweeping outside a compound, her clothes patched but clean. Isioma stopped. "My daughter, what is your name?" "Chiamaka, my Lolo," the girl curtsied nervously. "Beautiful name, God is beautiful. Tell me, Chiamaka, have you eaten this morning?" The girl shook her head shyly. "Come to the palace this afternoon. Mama Ngozi is making akara, and there is always room for one more. Bring your friends." As the girl ran off excitedly, Chibuike joined his wife, now Obi after his father's peaceful passing. "Still taking care of everyone, I see." Isioma smiled, watching the sun rise over her beloved village. "Old habits, my husband. Besides, who knows, that child might be the next great leader of Umuora. If she learns from you, we will be blessed indeed." They walked together toward the palace, their silhouettes merging with the golden dawn. Behind them, the village awakened, a place where character mattered more than cowrie shells, where wisdom grew in the humblest soil, and where a girl with nothing but a good heart had changed everything. The greatest crown any leader could wear, Isioma had learned, was not made of coral or gold. It was made of the love of those they served, the trust of those they protected, and the hope of those who came after. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Like, subscribe, and comment below with what lesson resonated most with you. Remember, true nobility lives in the heart, not in the barn. Until the next tale, may your Kai guide you well.